Welcome to another exciting episode of the Neville Goddard podcast. That's it. Let's dive in. You are the owner of a boundless forest. This is not something to be treated lightly. This is something to be dove into deeply. Neville Goddard shared a quote made by a friend of his. Well, it was actually made by her father or grandfather or somebody, I forget. But when Neville shares a quote like that from someone who is relatively unknown, I sit up and I pay attention. Spend your dollar as if it were, though, a dry leaf, and you the owner of a boundless forest. So many people are trying to manifest up more dry leaves instead of moving into the state of owner of a boundless forest. This is what we explored. We didn't just explain this, we explored this in the money prayer call. I really want you to get it. Because with the money prayer, the way you pray about money determines how you can play with money. And how you play with money is 100% determined, and it 100% determines how you pray about money. You are the owner of a boundless forest. Trying to manifest more dry leaves is maddening. Have you ever got mad about money? Somebody mentions it, to somebody else has more of it, and you get mad. Maybe they're having an easier time with money than you. Maybe they spend money on stupid things, and you get mad. See, people are mad about money. They're mad about money because they feel as though they've got to work for it. It's hard to earn. People are mad about money because they believe that there's only so much. People are mad about money because they believe it's the money that matters. If it's necessary for you to spend your dollar, spend it as though it were a dry leaf. I love that Neville shared that. I know what I share. The only things that I share is the shit that goes deep. Check me out on Facebook. You'll notice I really don't share any dumb shit. I share food, I share smiles, I share sunshine in the garden. I share the puppies, and I share the truth about you that sets you free. I want you to celebrate life. If you learned one thing in your entire life from me, if you could take one thing, remember, learning is behavior change. It isn't, that sounds pretty good, Mr. 20, I'm going to think about that a lot. Right? Learning is behavior change. Let this change your behavior. Spend your dollar as though it were a dry leaf and you the owner of a boundless forest. You get to imagine up, you get to explore being the owner of a boundless forest. How many episodes of this podcast do you hear me talk about ownership? Accomplished and satisfied, qualities like that. It's these things that totally transform your world. You're the owner of a boundless forest. Hey, there's a dry leaf. Here you go. Good boy. There's a difference there that makes a difference. That's all I got today. If you got gold from this, if you get that there's a lot of layers to explore here, if you want to hear some swearing, caring, and sharing, because that's what happens on a live call, go get that recording. You can get it at NevilleGoddardStore.com. Because here's the deal, gang. You don't need to manifest up more dry leaves. What you really need to do is explore and experience what it's like being the owner of a boundless forest. This totally changes the way you pray about money. This totally changes the way you play with money. Listen to this one a couple times. Let it dive deep. Get that recording if you are so moved to. And just notice, am I behaving as if? Am I being moved from the state of being the owner of a boundless forest? Because it's true. And it is the truth about you that sets you free. My name is Mr. 2020. You've been listening to the Neville Goddard podcast. And what I want you to do right now is to take that feeling of being the owner of the boundless forest into the silence that we are. Ownership, accomplishment, and satisfaction. Remember, the truth about you is what sets you free. Dive deeper, soar higher. Thank you for listening to the Neville Goddard podcast.